Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Scroll Halters, a show where entrepreneurs, creators, and marketers share their best stories and insights. This show is brought to you by Social Marketing Writing. Today, I'm joined by Samantha North, who is an AI automation specialist and founder of Emigre Systems, an agency that helps B2B service businesses scale with smart automations. Samantha also has a PhD in social data science from the University of Bath, UK. Hi,
Hey,
Samantha.
Mitch.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. It's exciting. I like being on podcasts. So yeah, it's great to have the chance to chat with you. We've been connected on LinkedIn for quite a while, I think. We've interacted a few times on there. So yeah,
This is
looking
the first
forward
time
to the chat.
we're meeting in person. Yeah, thank you for
It
coming.
is, yeah, in person, almost in person.
I mean,
Digital.
we're only like 20 minutes away, I think, but at something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Paris to Funchal. Yeah.
So can you tell people a bit more about what you do?
Yeah, what I do currently, I mean, I've done a lot of things leading up to this, but since since last summer, I have been moving away from the SEO thing I used to do, and I'm now helping businesses automate their processes with AI. So this really came to light for me when I had my own business helping people get EU citizenship and relocate to Portugal. The main thing that triggered it was really because I was doing quite good SEO at this point and it was quite mature and leads were coming in all the time, right? But it was difficult to handle all of these leads. And as a result, we lost money because we were not responding to leads quickly enough because, it's just a very cumbersome thing to do manually. So after having lost probably, thousands from these misleads, I decided that enough was enough and that I had to look into some way to automate it. And I'd already been using AI tools for, about a year and a half at this point, and I was obviously aware of that stuff from my PhD as well. So I built a couple of simple automations just to help us respond to our leads in a timely way. And it really helped to increase the rate at which they converted and went through and carried on the conversation. And that was the start of something really, because I realized that there's vast potential with AI automations, and so many businesses are just not anywhere near it yet. So many are struggling like I did with my previous business. And after some months, I managed to automate most of that first business and turned it into more of a almost a passive income driver. And then I decided to move back into the service business world and start offering AI automations as a service for B2B. And that brings me to the present day, which is what I'm doing.
That's interesting because you sort of automated lead generation with SEO. So you're organically getting leads, and then now you're automating converting all those leads you're getting. So
So
how did you make SEO work for you for your business?
yeah, well, that business was what taught me most of what I know about SEO. I started in 2020. I already had a background in content, web content writing at that point, but I hadn't dived so deeply into SEO until I started my own thing. But then, I started learning all the things and writing these blog posts about different problems that people might encounter when they're moving to different European countries. And I published them. And after some months, things started to climb the rankings and leads started to trickle in. And eventually, more and more started to come in. And it was things like people needing help with visas, people needing advice on different aspects of relocation, all of this stuff. So there was a lot going on, and it was quite hard to keep control of all that manually. So I really like struggled for probably at least a year or more, even doing this manually with my business partner also in the UK. But it just wasn't enough. We needed automation, and yeah, the main thing I think I didn't automate content at that point. We kept content manually written for quite a long time. But it didn't really matter because the content was so mature at that point that it was still ranking well because it had been there for, 3 to 4 years. It was more about when the lead fills in that form on the website and they come through to us, we needed something to respond to them really quickly rather than, 2 days later. It's just not good enough. It really kind of everything goes cold at that point. So that was the first system that I built. And yeah, it really helped a lot.
And how do you build a system? Do you use any specific tools?
Yeah, I use make.com. So it was really like the same form. I think I was using Paperform. Yeah. So Paperform or Typeform to capture the lead. And then once they hit submit on that form, they go into the Make workflow, and an AI tool, probably ChatGPT, a cheap one for this purpose, would just write a nice little note just to let them know that this had been received and email that to them. In fact, it could even be a templated message because this is a very simple use case, but we didn't even have it in place. So it's made a massive difference despite being something so simple.
Okay. And is it something that's easy to set up, or do people need to know how to code or something like that to set this up?
No, they definitely don't know how to code. I personally, although I did the PhD, I was forced to code a bit. I did not enjoy it. I'm very happy to leave that world behind. So you can do all this stuff in a no-code tool like Make.com or N8N or Zapier.
Okay. And what other sort of automations do you help set up for these people, for these
So
companies?
right, yeah. So right now I'm doing a lot of marketing automations, particularly content and social media. Um, I've just been talking to a potential client just earlier today about creating an affiliate marketing system for them that blends, you know, SEO research with actual capturing of expert insights about these tools and blending that together in an intelligent piece of content. It's going to make things a lot faster for them, but it's still going to be good quality content that has their insights and not just, respun junk that lots of others do in the affiliate world. So I'm quite excited about that. They seem to really like the system. I think it's going to be a game changer for them.
And currently, what are you doing to get more people to check out to learn about your services? You mentioned earlier something about
Yeah.
how you're having very good success with LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, LinkedIn has been really great these last couple of years. I've been actively building my brand on there. Um, I pivoted a couple of times. So, I used to be SEO and now it's a pivot, but it's a related pivot, so it's not too dramatic. Um, what I'm doing really is, well, I have an automation set up for this, and I try to post every day. And what I do is I usually have, some kind of idea every morning about a post. I voice dictate that idea into Slack, and that runs it into a little AI-driven workflow behind the scenes and a Claude prompt that gives the idea the structure that it needs to perform well on LinkedIn. So the idea is all coming from me, but the structure is coming from Claude. And then it outputs that into Excel or Airtable or whatever, and then I can copy it, tweak it, put it on LinkedIn as I choose. And I find that's been really effective, and I like that it still feels like me and it's my ideas and my style, but I don't have to struggle with getting the right hook, getting the right structure, and all of that stuff that takes a lot of time. So that's been my main thing. I'm also doing LinkedIn lead magnet posts, giving away some of my automations as a template to people, and these perform really, really well. So I definitely recommend to any listeners who are on LinkedIn, if you have something valuable to give away as a lead magnet on LinkedIn, then this is something that's going to really expand your audience and get people contacting you, because it just gets so much more traction than ordinary posts.
Okay. And do you also find that with LinkedIn, this is something I found very useful, which is interacting with other comments before I post? Do you do that?
I do that. Not necessarily as a kind of a routine task. I just sort of dip in and out of LinkedIn and respond to comments as they strike me. So it's very organic for me. I know some people say, yeah, you should spend 20 minutes commenting before posting, but I don't have it as rigid as that, and it still seems to work. But I'm generally have little bursts of activity on LinkedIn throughout the day anyway, so probably I'm commenting quite a lot anyway.
Okay. And what other strategies are you using to promote your AI automation service? Is it just LinkedIn right now, or have you got anything else in place?
It's just LinkedIn at the moment, and a bit of like, word of mouth, like light emails to people in my close network and that kind of thing. But I am planning to launch some cold email outreach with an AI driven system that I'm going to be building. and that's going to probably use LinkedIn Sales Navigator and a couple of other enrichment tools, and it will generate intelligent emails with icebreakers and all of that. And I need to like really narrow down my target audience, probably digital marketing agencies. But yeah, I'm going to start that. But I think the first thing I'm really getting right is nailing down my offer, and LinkedIn is helping me with that. I'm currently testing 3 offers for 3 niches and just seeing which ones seem to need my automations the most and who is responding the most, like looking for the signal amongst the data. And so far I seem to be getting the most response from digital marketing agencies, so who need help with content and social media automations. So I may double down on that. Let's see, it's still early days.
Okay, and you mentioned earlier that you used lead magnets to get people to comment, and when they comment, do you send them to like a landing page where they need to sign up, or do you just give them direct access to the tool?
Yeah, so right now I'm just giving them direct access. It's not really a tool, it's just a JSON file from Make. So it's very DIY, They have to, I give them a couple of basic points of instructions, like download the JSON, import it into your own make.com, tweak the prompts, and make sure you have all your own APIs and that. So it's quite light in terms of what I'm giving them, but it's a very valuable template if they can use it properly. Of course, if they want to hire me to set it all up and tweak it for their own business case, then that's something else that we can talk about. But no, I'm not gating it behind an email thing at the moment. However, what I started doing is just keeping the offer open for 24 hours. So I, send it to as many people as I can in a 24-hour period. And then I update the post to say that the offer is now closed, but I drop a link to my email newsletter in the comments. And if they sign up to that over the next couple of weeks, I'm planning to share the automation again. So they will be able to get it at some point in the future.
Okay.
But it has to stop somewhere because the comments don't stop otherwise. And I'm spending like days and days on this, it just has to have boundaries.
Okay. Because what has worked for me is, at the beginning when they ask for something, I give it immediately, and I
Yeah.
tell them my services. I tell them about my services if they're interested, they come in. But if they don't, what I do is I tell them, these people, I've got something similar that you can sign up for, and then you have people in your email list that you can nurture and sell to a bit later.
Yeah, it's good to get to gate it as well. But I was watching what other people in the automation space were doing, and it seems like not many people are gating the resource at the moment. So I was trying to sort of strike a balance between that and drop the email list thing later on. But it's a learning process, and I might gate them in future. Let's see.
And and this the one you were talking about, where you're putting the after you end the offer and you're placing a link where they can sign up for, is getting you a lot of the email subscribers?
Yeah, I've got maybe like 20 over the last couple of days, so it's not bad for a start.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
I mean, my email list has, I think, a few hundred at least. I did a purge recently, and of the inactive ones, there's a few hundred left on there, maybe 700 or 800. But I don't know if all of those are going to be relevant to AI automation, but they're all digital marketing type SEO content people, so I think there's going to be quite a lot of overlap. Anyway.
Okay, and are you doing anything else to promote your newsletter, or is it just via LinkedIn?
Well, I only launched this new brand, this new iteration of it, a couple of days ago, really. To be honest, I just whipped it up on Lovable, and I thought it made a really nice job. So it's called Practical Automation. I'm planning to start promoting it on my own blog, samanthanorth.com, which I getting quite a lot of traffic now. So I need to sort of gradually pivot the blog more towards automation and away from SEO. But I will be including the newsletter on there as my main like lead capture thing as well. So yeah, I expect it will grow over the coming weeks and months. But what I found so good about using Lovable was that I had this idea in the morning, and I was able to build the tool in like less than an hour, build the newsletter thing, like rather than fighting with ConvertKit with its ugly templates. This is so off-putting. Yet another ugly landing page template. I was able to build something that looked really nice and it actually worked, and just to launch it out there, and that's really exciting for me.
What is Lovable again? Like I don't know anything about it, for example.
Okay, so it's lovable.dev if anyone wants to check it out. And it's basically an AI coding assistant. So you can just prompt it by voice, just tell it what you want it to build, and it will go ahead and code it for you in the browser. And then you can just keep prompting it, telling it to fix different things, and to make the changes until you're happy with the output. So yeah, it's really amazing. It's very intuitive.
It's a bit like Replit.
I haven't tried that. Is that like bolt.new? Yeah, I think it's like Replit actually. Replit. Is it like a no code builder? It codes for you. Yeah, you tell it what you want to build and it codes behind the scenes. Yeah, yeah, it's the same as that.
So what are your that I've seen that. What are your favorite AI tools?
Okay, so number one is probably Claude for writing. I love Claude. Like I like it more than ChatGPT, if I'm honest. Very journalistic style. It's quite natural, quite human, and it just feels very, very intelligent to me. So that's probably my go-to day-to-day AI tool. I do use ChatGPT for various other things. I'm using it actually more and more these days. And I recently started using Sora in ChatGPT for images, and I was quite excited by the quality of images in there. Lovable is something I'm a big fan of now, and Make.com, well, automation tool. But yeah, I love Make, and also Relevance AI. Do you know this one?
What's the name?
It's called Relevance AI.
I have not.
It's basically it's a bit like Make.com, but it's more geared towards building AI agents.
Okay.
So yeah, you can build your agent, you can give it all the different tools, and you can even do like a multi-agent system. So it's something I recently signed up for and have been learning, following tutorials, trying to build projects on, just to get more into that AI agent space, because it seems to be the way that things are heading, and you can do some quite amazing things. Other tools, I'm very excited about HeyGen. I haven't actually properly tested it yet because I don't want to pay for yet another subscription, but I will at some point, I know. I want to build a personal avatar for video and make some videos using a personal avatar, because I think that would be a really big game changer. Because, sitting in front of a camera, recording like shorts, it's another time suck. And it would be great just to have those scripts, feed them to your HeyGen, and have your personal avatar do the speaking instead of you. So that's definitely something on my radar.
And do you use a tool like Poe or Magai, or do you just go and directly subscribe to Claude and ChatGPT?
I use them in two ways. I use the API in Make.com and other tools, and I also use the front ends subscription. Yeah.
When I'm referring to, you have these tools like I don't know if you know Magi.
No, I don't think I do actually. What does that do?
These companies like Magi and Poe, where
okay, Poe. Yeah, I've used Poe. I did used to have a Poe subscription. You can get lots of different models in one, right?
Yeah. I was asking was if you're using something like that, which lets you access multiple AI tools, or do you subscribe to Claude and ChatGPT individually?
Yeah, right now I'm subscribing to them both individually. Yeah.
Okay.
Not sure what the reasoning is. I guess I'm just used to their interfaces, and yeah, I like it that way. I did use Poe for a bit, but I let the subscription run out.
And you prefer using Claude for writing and ChatGPT for other stuff?
Yeah. I used for what's the difference really in how I use them? I think, yeah, if I want to do good copy, like, a LinkedIn post or a good blog post or something, then I'm always going to turn to Claude. If I'm doing stuff that involves searching the internet, then definitely I'm using ChatGPT, probably the 4.0 model 4.0. I've been playing around a little bit with the new 0.1 and 0.3s, but I'm pretty sure I'm not using them to their full potential yet. I know there's this deep research thing, which is cool. There's a lot more going on with ChatGPT, so I do like to keep dipping in and using it. But when I'm writing stuff, I'm always back to Claude every single time.
Okay. And do you use any of those other new tools like DeepSeek, for example?
I've had a play around with DeepSeek, but it hasn't really stuck with me at the moment. I feel it could be useful if someone's looking for a much cheaper model that's still quite powerful. But honestly, like I just ran a sort of a token evaluation cost for like 100 blog posts for a client using as if they were using the most advanced Claude. And it was like $14 for 100 blog posts with Claude, like long ones. So, it's not really that much money considering if you were paying somebody or if you were doing it yourself in terms of the cost of your time, and that's just not generic churned out rubbish. That is stuff with proper expert insights fed in through voice notes. So it's good stuff.
I think maybe businesses who are worried about their environment impact might choose DeepSeek over Claude or something. Maybe, I don't know, that could be an issue for some people, because I believe DeepSeek.
Is there a difference?
I believe DeepSeek uses far fewer resources than ChatGPT.
Okay. I didn't know about that. That's interesting.
That's the only things they were using about. I think when they came out, that's one of the reasons why it was getting popular, because people were talking about how it uses far fewer resources.
Okay, well, that's definitely, I'll have to look into that more. It's probably something worth writing an article about, a comparison or something. I think DeepSeek, it can definitely substitute for some of the ChatGPT models.
Okay.
There's nothing really stopping me using it. I think I'm just used to the ones I use and they're just there, like I did actually offer a client the other day, if they wanted to substitute DeepSeek for Claude, we could do that if they wanted to save money on tokens, because they were a bit worried about the token costs. But as it happens, it's not as much as they thought. But yeah, I think it's going to be really important going into the future. I know that Sam Altman recently said that us being polite to the AI tools is actually costing them more money, right? Did you see that?
I saw that, yeah. I mean, what was interesting was after he said that, it became a trending post, and then people started posting about it, and they created AI imagery with it, so they were consuming even more data, I guess.
Yeah, it's where does it end? I just don't think there's really an end in sight. But perhaps if DeepSeek have cracked it, then why can't OpenAI figure out what DeepSeek are doing and follow a similar path? It's obviously technically possible. Yeah. So why are they not doing it? Maybe they are and they haven't told us yet. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Can you tell everyone? Thank you so much for providing all this value to my listeners. Can you tell people more about you and how they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can definitely find me on LinkedIn. It's just Samantha North, and I'm there actively almost every single day. You can also check out emigre.ai, which is my new agency website. And I'm also I'm not on Twitter anymore, actually. So yeah, LinkedIn and the website are the best places to find me.
Okay, everyone, if you want to reach out to Samantha, message her on LinkedIn or go to her website. I'm going to include links to both of them below the video. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.
Thank you, Mick. Bye-bye. Thank you.